Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome, bienvenidos, to an all-new, all-brand, spectacular, spanking episode of the From Grateful to Greatness podcast. I'm your host, Mario Kaleo, and every episode begins, of course, with me being grateful. So, I'm grateful for my wife, my family, my friends, everybody who follows me on social media, everybody who follows us on social media, all of you for taking the time to listen to this podcast, and God and the universe and Dunkin' Donuts for giving me another day on this planet to talk to you. I thank Dunkin' Donuts because, you know, they got fantastic iced coffee, man, and I'm drinking one right now. RJ is drinking one. John is listening. He's not drinking one, but anyway. Gulp. Oh, man, that's some good stuff. So what's up, man? RJ is here. Say hello to the peoples.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, man, we haven't done this in what? Yeah, that's John talking, mousily.
My mic's turned off.
Oh, his mic is off. But, yeah, John's over there chilling, doing the audio and the levels and stuff. So thank you to John for listening to us babble for another hour or so. But yeah, man, we haven't done this for what? Man, it's been a couple months now since we did an episode of this. We've been busy. Been a lot of stuff.
The last one, RJ was not.
No, I wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was the interview. Yeah, it was, thank you again to Richard Taylor Jr. for doing that. It was the first interview. I don't know how often I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Only because,
Is it hard to do? Because you guys Skyped them in, right?
Yeah, Skype, and, you know, I like it, but, you know, there's something about having real-life discourse versus that's a little bit more interesting. He is an awesome guy. This isn't a slight against him. It's just that, no, I really ain't, because he's awesome, and it was a good conversation.
It's more, you mean having them in the same room.
In the same room, yeah. So I'm not averse to doing interviews anymore.
But you
it's
want
just
to be
that it would be nice
person.
to have them here, unless, obviously, if, like, The Rock is like, hey, I want to do an interview on your podcast, I'd be like, all right, well, let's Skype his ass in, you know, but... Yeah, man. So, I don't know, man. Our RJ thought we should talk about the topic of setbacks, man. And I think that's been a prevalent issue, especially for me in my life in the last 2 years especially. Setbacks have been... Oh, and you know, real quick, the Rocky 40th anniversary just happened. 40th anniversary of Rocky, the first Rocky. The reason I bring that up, obviously, aside from the fact that I'm a fan... Rocky's all about setbacks, man. Rocky, that whole fucking franchise is one setback after another happening to that guy. So that's one of the big reasons I'm such a fan of that character, because it's all about something bad happening and you bouncing back from it.
Oh, damn, yeah, every single one.
I thought it was
every
single
like
Rocky.
Rocky.
When you're drunk.
Well, that too.
Every single Rocky, though, is basically, there has to be a major setback, and then he can,
It's kind of a
so that's
point
good.
for any movie, really, though. I mean, any drama or, like, movie like that has a setback that they have to overcome, whether it's a death in a parent, a dead parent, or whatever. I mean,
that's true too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's relevant because it's the anniversary and we love Rocky so much. But yeah, setbacks, dude. The last 2 years, I don't know about you, RJ. I don't know how it's been for you when it comes to this issue, but you were the one who brought it up.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you have some cannon fodder on this.
Well,
but,
I'm assuming everybody, you know, with the very, very small percentage of people who had everything that they ever wanted, experienced setbacks in some way.
Yeah. Do you think Paris Hilton had setbacks? Oh yeah, that movie.
well, she wanted to be a singer, a DJ. Yeah, so I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, so I guess
See? And but she never actually overcame
keeps
those
trying
setbacks.
Stuff. I mean, she's trying different things.
You know,
You really followed up? You keep on tabs on her?
No, I see like something about her once in a while, but I remember driving with my buddy and her song was on the radio, and we were both like, we didn't know who it was, and we're both like, well, this isn't too bad. I wonder who this is. And it was Paris Hilton.
Well, there you go.
I wouldn't say it was great. I wouldn't go out and buy it.
Well, even some of the richest people in the world do have setbacks.
Well, I don't think setbacks are about money or necessarily any of that stuff. I just think it's one of them things that everybody, especially those of us who have like goals and shit, we encounter them more often than other people, I think. I think because when you're, gunning for something, whatever it is, like you're gunning for something, and then shit happens. Like I said, in the last 2 years, I mean, my father passing away, dealing with bullshit from people and changing jobs and the injury after injury after injury has, and I have been very honest about it. I've gained some weight back. I'm in the process of losing it, and a lot of that was because so many times I got hurt that I just couldn't counter. It was almost like it was impossible to keep the weight off without being able to exercise.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we're definitely going to have to get into. It's, the setbacks that you just can't avoid, period, like injury, like death in a family or stuff like that. And then it's the setbacks that you kind of put on yourself or that happen to you that you use as setbacks. I mean, because whether it's health, it's wealth, it's anything in your life, it's going to happen. Even with us in the comic book, I mean, there's times we go to cons and it doesn't shell out the way we want to, and it creates this kind of mental setback in us sometimes that we have to get over. And we do every time, but it's something that is part, in my opinion, if you're trying to, like you said, go for a goal, it's going to happen. Not that you should expect it, but don't be surprised when it does.
See, that's the thing. I think you should expect it, and I think that's where I have gained a lot of resiliency, because it got to the point where I just started being like, well, this is just gonna happen. Like, I can't, like, it makes me mad, and it makes me like, you get obviously frustrated, but if you a lot of setbacks too, it starts to become either you're going to adapt and change and form yourself to go with it, or you're going to keep on being pissed off that it happens and never really advance. That's where I am now. Now I'm at the point where I said, all right, man, clearly the way I'm doing things isn't working because I keep getting hurt. So I'm doing something wrong. So working out 2 times a day, 6 days a week, maybe it's a little excessive. I don't know. But, I had to basically say to myself, what's going to make it that I can maintain consistency and some kind of just, staying on track with this shit? Because that's the problem with me, is that it's more like, it's hard for me to stay consistent when you throw a wrench in my plans. So if you take working out away from me, all of a sudden I'm like, well, I'm just, fuck it, I'll just drink pop and stuff. Like that's the way I am, because it's like, if I don't have it all, I don't want it. I'm just like, it has to be like this or fuck it, you know. And well, I don't know, man.
And that's kind of like a compound setback. That's not only one that's thrust upon you; it's also one that that's how you cope with that particular kind of setback. So
I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I don't like start binge eating a bunch of crap. I'm saying that what happens is I might eat more than I normally do, and I'm not as strict because I'm like, well, I'm not in the gym, so. It's a weird. Food has always been a coping mechanism for me, always. And when setbacks occur, I tend to want to run to that, the comfort it provides me. I still stay relatively on my guidelines of what I eat, but I end up eating more than usual because I'm dealing with the fact that, like, oh God, I'm hurt. And for me especially, to remember what it was like when I couldn't, walk around without getting winded, when I had chronic tendonitis, when I had all this fucked up problems because I was so overweight. Injuries are like a little bit more devastating than me because I'm dramatic in general, and I'm just like, oh my God, no, it's happening again. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be just like I used to be, and my mind starts fucking with me, and that's what you just said about you compound the issue, because now it's like, well, you just hurt your back.
Yeah,
like I'm the type where I'm sitting there thinking, am I ever gonna run again? I really do, but it's a legit. It sounds ridiculous, and my poor wife is the one who has to deal with the brunt of this shit. But for me, I worked so hard to go from being obese to becoming somewhat athletic, and when you lose it a little bit, it's kind of devastating to a person like me, because it's like, fuck, dude, I don't ever want to be that guy again. I don't ever want to feel that way again. Yeah. So I don't know,
And we've had talks about it, what to do when you get hurt, and you know what to do. And let's not make any mistakes. It's not easy. I mean, to change your entire diet because of an injury. But sometimes, like you said, they're going to happen. I've had it happen. I'm kind of the same way where I'll push myself too hard, maybe take too much pre-workout one day and try to just go like a fucking madman. And I've, shoulder injuries, back injuries, leg injuries.
You ever had anybody yell at you about the pre-workout?
Has anybody ever yelled at me? Yeah, well, my girlfriend thinks it's going to kill me one day because we don't know what's in it. And I agree with her that I don't know what's in it. And
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
my mom gives me shit about it, and my wife gives me shit about it. Like, that shit is horrible for you. And it's just
Probably.
like, well, I'm like,
It
well, The
might
Rock
be.
does it.
Yeah.
That's my
If The Rock can do it, then we can all do it.
Bless you. Bless you.
I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not the worst advice to go by or the worst person to follow. I've always liked it, but I have had those instances where I pushed myself too hard. Or playing basketball, you turn an ankle, you turn a knee, things like that happen, and then you're laid up, and you got to deal with it. It's a setback as far as if you're trying to get into shape, because especially like with the joints, your back, yeah, that could be a week, that could be 2 weeks, that could be 3 weeks. And you don't know. It's it's not like as soon as you get hurt, you're like, oh, that'll be 3 days of me laying on the back. No, it could be a month. You have no idea. So I think in your case, especially when you're trying to, remain in control because you've been in control for so long, to now you're out of control and you don't know when you're going to get it back. That's what probably scares you more than anything. And same with me. I try to be stronger, and I know once I hurt myself, it's like shit. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I'm gonna have to redo this all the time, and now I know I have to go even slower. So, it's always been like that for me. If you were always kind of like an easy gainer, I was always kind of a hard gainer. It was always hard for me to gain weight. It was always hard for me to get stronger. So anytime I had a setback, I would feel like shit. Now I got to do it again, and I got to do it even slower. So,
it's man, and as we talk about this, I want to eventually get to how to deal with it after the fact, but we'll get to that in a second, because I think a lot of you guys that listen to this, you could probably relate to this. I know basically everybody I know for a fact that listens to this podcast has a bunch of goals. You're people that I message every Monday with that message on Instagram. You're people that I know all have stuff you want to do. And when you want to do a bunch of stuff, this shit happens.
Yeah.
This shit happens, and it's so difficult for like, ambitious people. It's very difficult for ambitious people because as an overly ambitious person, you are usually impatient, and you are also a person that likes to be in control of every situation. And when control gets taken away from you, you are upset and frustrated and angry. And even like this year, dude, the back.
Yeah.
The groin. I mean, bro. My knee. I had just one thing after another, after another, after another, man. And it really became to me where I had to start saying, it's self-assessment. Again, we talk about this so much. I bring this up a lot in the live videos because it's so important. And we might have touched on this in the past, but it's fucking humbling yourself. Sometimes it's like stepping back and being like, dude, whatever you did 2-3 years ago might not be the same shit you can do now.
Yeah.
Maybe this is not going to work. Maybe you have to take a different approach. I had to do that, dude. Mm-hmm. I had to step back recently and be like, how am I going to... And when it comes to setbacks, too, I think another thing about it is being willing to change shit up. Being willing to evolve and adapt, because so many people... And I'm one of them, dude. I told you, I had to humble myself because I'm... for how long? I said, well, this is how I did it.
Yeah.
It should work. It should work, and it's not working anymore, and it's like...
Because physically you plateau, or, you go so hard and eventually you break something, or, you hurt something. And it's true. What you were saying, what I wanted to touch on was the idea, or the way you actually get around it or adjust yourself. That's how you survive setbacks. That's how you get past them. That's how you get back on track to cover your goals. And not only, fitness wise, but for all these ambitious people who listen, whatever your goal may be, it's going to happen. Just like Mario said, you have to roll with the punches. It's those who...
It's so tough, man.
But most of these people, I would assume, are very creative thinkers. I mean, if they weren't, then they wouldn't be, kind of doing their thing. So all you have to do is find a creative way to get yourself back on track. That's what the most important or most successful people have done. You know, there is a line that says, you know, in order to do something, you have to go from point A to point B, but nobody says you have to follow that line. You know, you have to kind of circle your way around every little bump and every little, you know, sideway that you can think of in order to get what you want. Nothing's ever going to be laid out for you. So that's something, you know, both in fitness and in the comic book that we've been continually doing. And I think it's something people need to know, or people need to hear.
You know, that's true, too, because it doesn't just apply to fitness. I mean, when we first started the comic book as an idea, and, you know, things didn't work out the way we had intended in the first year. You know, I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but the fact of the matter is we had this whole plan laid out, and an entire year didn't just totally wasted, basically. An entire year totally wasted, didn't go the way we planned, and it was a major setback for us because, and a lot of people that out there might think, you know, I guess it's easy for somebody else who maybe isn't an ambitious person looking from the outside in to say, well, what's the big deal, dude? It's just a comic book, you know? But to us, we had put so much effort into creating this thing, and now we have to start from fucking square one, and 12 months just went down the drain. And it's very easy as, you know, as a human being, period. It's very easy to just want to jump ship when something doesn't go the way you want it to.
Yeah.
And I'll
fuck that. I'm out of here.
and I'll even give you a more recent example as well. You know, dude, for the longest time I was doing these videos, and barely any views. Nobody really cared. I mean, yeah, here and there people would say stuff and whatever, right? Someone else might be like, fuck this, dude. Like, I'm putting all this work in and nobody gives a shit. I don't need to do this anymore. And I'm going to be honest, there were times I had those thoughts. It's easy on a dream-chasing journey to hit roadblocks and be like, this sucks, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And then be like, I'm doing something else. We believe in the comics so much that roadblock was just like, all right, well, this street is blocked, we need to go to a different street. You know, and with the videos, too, it was like, all right, well, something I'm doing isn't working, let me go a different route. And sometimes it's easy as something so stupid, and I'm not even going to say what it is, because fuck you guys, you're not going to learn the trick I learned. But sometimes there's something so dumb that when you do it, all of a sudden, the videos were getting 1, 2 likes, now they're getting 19, 20, 21, they're getting 100, 200 views. Why? I'm not going to say why, because it's so fucking stupid that it's embarrassing. It's so stupid, it's embarrassing.
There's people out there right now going,
I'm not going to say what it is.
No,
I just don't want to say. I don't want to say what it is because honestly,
Yeah,
it's something I do.
yeah.
Most likely, yeah. You're the only one doing it.
No. I'm saying it's something I do and pertains to other people's stuff. So I'm saying it's something that is all of us do it. I'm not going to say what it is, but all of us do it, and it's the reason certain videos get more views than others. That's all I'm going to say. But like I said, it's all about. I'm sorry. I was just say it's all about being humble enough to be like, okay, well, whatever this road is not yielding the results I want anymore.
Right.
It doesn't mean you quit on the dream.
No.
It means maybe I try this road. You know, case in point, the working out stuff. I'm not working out twice a day anymore. What I did was, all right, man, clearly something I'm doing is not working because I keep getting fucking hurt. Mm-hmm. So let me do one nice, solid workout in the middle of the day. Instead of trying to split it and do 2 and overwhelm myself because I got the new job and the hours are a little different than my old job.
Sure.
And, dude, I tell you what, bro, I feel stronger than I have in a long time. I've been able to maintain consistency with this. And I haven't felt any of the injuries flare up, you know, fingers fucking crossed.
Touch wood.
Touch wood, right? That's an inside joke.
I was going to say, though, what you said about the road, you said how, like, we wasted a year. Based off what you're saying, though, you really didn't waste it. You learned from that because you decided to go a different route. You did something different afterwards to try to get closer to that goal.
Yeah,
So I think people do need to like learn from that,
and
too, not just give up.
I agree, and I would add on to that, because what we learned will now be a life lesson and we'll never make the same mistake again. I mean, we're never going to get into an agreement unless we know for sure, we're covered.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's other things that tripped us up on the way to get to where we are now. And, we'll never make that same mistake again because we've seen it already. I mean, even now, the idea of the comic, in a perfect world, we would be making them completely by ourselves, and running this whole thing, but we don't have an unlimited amount of money or resources or reach. We understand we have to change our idea to fit into, what's already out there. And that applies for everything. I mean, you have to find your way. And that's the important thing about Setbacks is, they can teach you life lessons. They can make you a better person.
I think they absolutely do.
Well, I wouldn't want to be around anybody who never fucked up.
You know what, though? It's how you handle them that makes you a better person. If
Yeah.
you're gonna mope, like I know plenty of people that have a setback and they just mope, and then they start blaming the universe or God or the world or whatever,
Yeah.
everybody else.
I've been there.
But if you learn from,
Long
but you
time
learn from
ago,
it, but you both learned from it. You both overcame that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all go through it.
Well, it's like
It's
that,
how you continuously handle it.
the quote from Rocky 6. I mean, in my opinion, is the greatest motivational quote I've ever said. And I'm not just saying that because it's Rocky. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. It's like John just said, and like you just said. Language is important. It really is. And by me saying wasted, it is true. It puts a negative connotation on it.
Sure.
The truth of the matter is, if it wasn't for those 12 months that we spent, or you could even go even more positive, invested, if it wasn't even, and that's something that we'll touch on in a future episode. I have been making a real conscious attempt at shifting perspective in the moment. Not like later.
Yeah, not
You know what I
waiting a
mean?
day or two.
And just as a quick example, on the 90 on the expressway today, stuck in traffic, and I hate fucking traffic. Those of you guys, if you don't know this about me, okay, I can be so motivated and positive until you put me in traffic. Then I become a son of a bitch, okay? But
Still motivated.
I today, dude, just stuck in traffic, and I feel myself starting to get mad. And I look across the 90. I'm not, no lie. I look across the 90, fucking skyline of Chicago, and the sun is all bright. And right in that moment, I was just like, you know what, man, this sucks, but there's that. And it sounds real simple, but I'll be honest, I smiled. I was like, man, I could be blind.
Yeah.
I could not have a car. I could not be here to see this right now. I know that's totally off topic, but we're going to talk about that in more depth another time, about perspective shift, because some of us need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so back to what we were talking about. Wasted versus invested. Those setbacks that all of us go through. I mean, dude, with what happened to my dad, with what happened to your mom. I mean, John, I don't know if you've ever been through anything like that.
No immediate family. I mean, grandparents, but nothing like.
I mean, there's.
Well, Joanna's dad.
Okay. So there is something, and it sounds odd to call that a setback, but you had plans. Like, I had plans. I had fucking plans. My dad's gonna see me succeed. My dad's seen me do this, that, and the other, and we both got to a place in the last 2 years he was alive where we had a pretty good relationship, to the point where he was telling other people how proud he was of me, to the point where he said it to me himself. And my RJ, my father, that wasn't the dude to be like, I'm proud of you,
Shit, yeah, I think I heard him say it to me more than I heard him say it to you.
And hey.
Fucking guy.
But you have all these plans, dude, and then life is like, hey, remember those plans? Here, fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like that, and now, so it is odd to think of the death of a family member as a setback, but to me, it was, because it was like, this guy was supposed to see me get married. He was supposed to see me have a kid. He was supposed to see me succeed. and he saw the foundation of it, he saw the beginnings of it, and he was proud of it, but he ain't here no more. And to me, that was a massive setback in my life, because I had all these things that I had were going to happen, and now they're not going to happen. And it threw me off for a while, dude. Like, it really did. And you know, I think that it would throw anybody off. I don't give a shit how motivated you are. I mean, even the most motivated people in the world have told the stories about when something really traumatic happened, and it kind of just put them in a state of like I don't know what idling. You know what I mean? Like you're not really off track, but you're not really like gunning like you used to be. You're just kind of like coasting a little bit.
Well, mine was a little bit different. I completely derailed.
Well, you were 18 though, man. I mean, that was a time where that would have been.
Yeah.
I think at that age it was even more traumatic for you because, you know, I'm 30. I was 33 when my father died.
Yeah.
So I'm already a grown man. And it doesn't make it like, oh, well, this was easy. But it does make it as an 18-year-old kid who your mom was like your world.
Well, yeah.
You know, like, and so it was a little bit different, man.
But it was the same idea. It was the same concept. I mean, that was a person I held a candle for forever. I mean, if I wanted to succeed, it was to make her happy, really. I didn't know what else to do except make her proud. So when that happened, it was kind of, you know, how people say come to God moment or whatever, where it changes your life. And luckily, you know, I derailed, but I was able to, I don't want to say be penalized for it. I took it as it was bad circumstances what happened, you know, with the military and everything like that. But when I lost her, I lost all faith in the plan, in the goal. Period. And I actually got lucky that I got another chance. And I took it upon myself to, you know, make good on my promises. As much as I did when she was alive, I will do it now until I feel like that promise is filled. It's the only thing that's really kept me going through college and, you know, multiple jobs and all types of shit is that my job's still not done. And then when it is, I can actually enjoy it. I'll feel like I can enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it gets closer, and it'll get easier for you. And when you start, you know, getting to those places that you want to get to with all these avenues, you'll feel it too. You'll see.
Well, I mean, I even have, you know, felt it recently, dude. I mean, you know, when and it's a weird feeling, man. It's like, you know, and like I said a few minutes ago, it's like to go from, and I'm nowhere, I feel like it's not even the tip of the iceberg in terms of the motivational stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But, you know, the funny thing is, I got people that we have come to know now through social media and things like that, you know, texting me saying, man, I it's so crazy how many views your videos get. And it's like, man, y'all, like, we're not even there. We're not even fucking an inch yet, man. Yeah. We're not even that close yet to getting where we need to go. But I also get it, because, you know, when you're doing something and nobody really pays much attention to it, you easily start envying other people who maybe get a little bit more attention than you. Mm-hmm. But once again, we're talking 3 years deep now doing videos, and only in the last year really doing them consistently.
Really spreading it out.
But to go to the point where it's like, you know, hardly anybody cared, to now this point where, you know, decent, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 people really care. Yeah, there's many times where I'm like, man, dude, it really sucks that my dad, like, ain't here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and it's to me, it's like, whatever I'm doing is working, and it sucks, because in my mind, I'm like, this is only gonna get better, all of it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even, you know, my wife, you know, she's a very realistic person, dude. For her to be like the other day, you need to do every fucking convention you can. For her to say that to me is like, I had a moment where I was like, wow, man, like, you're saying that? I mean, like, you better think about what you're saying, man, because if you tell me that, but her mindset was, every opportunity now, you might need to think about taking them, even if they seem stupid, you know? But, like I said, and that's a little bit off topic, and I apologize, but you know, it's like you too, man. It's seeing the stuff we're doing, making an impact, and really building. I mean, when you see people sending pictures of their kids holding the comic book,
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, man, it's bittersweet, bro, because it's like whatever we're doing is working, and this is awesome. But man, they ain't gonna, you know, and everybody, well, they could see it. It's like, yeah, I don't fucking see him seeing it. So
Yeah.
it's not the same thing. Like, I mean, I understand, you know, in the spiritual sense, they see it, but I am not seeing them see it. So
Yeah.
it's not the same, you know, and, anyway.
I get it. I feel the same way. I mean, but again, it's, you know, that comic where you're at with this, it's all about, you know, getting past these setbacks. I mean, that's what I see when people say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did this." It's like, yeah, it's not as easy as you would have thought. You know, it's been tough, and we've gotten to this part. And even with this is the tip of the iceberg. We still haven't even cracked, you know, the layers of where we want to go with it. If
Yeah.
people think we've done something great now, then wait,
Yeah.
because it's gonna only, you know, go further than this. It was never our intention to just make 3 and stop.
Yeah.
So
No, and that's the thing too, is that I feel like a lot of times setbacks are more, I think they're devastating to ambitious people, but if you are truly driven, it will just become, you know,
yeah, the victory will be more sweet.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And the setback will just become fuel. It'll just be like, all right, like to me, dude, I'm crazy. I talk shit to life. Like in my mind, I'm like, when bad shit happens, I've gotten to the point now when bad things happen, I'm like laughing. I'm like, I'm crazy, dude. I'm in the car laughing. I'm like, this now? You got more? Come on. Like, I'm in my head, I'm just like, fuck you. You're not going to stop me. Like, and I think that there was a time where the setbacks were so devastating to me, where I would get depressed and really just down on myself. Now it's to the point where I'm like, I don't know whatever, like these things they suck and they're frustrating, but they're not going to stop me. They're not going to stop you. They won't stop you if you don't allow them to.
Yeah.
And just like what you said about the comic book, some people, I get, you know, and this is why it's like a weird thing to be like an ambitious person, right? Because you're never truly satisfied. It's like you make some shit and you're like, yay! And then the next day you're like, all right, next. Which I think is a gift and a curse, because it keeps you going. Because like you said about the comic, it was never our intention to be like, all right, we're just going to make 3 issues and then we'll see what happens. Right now we're going to be done with a pitch packet, and we're going to start pitching it next year to companies, because the big end game isn't even a comic book.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing about all this shit. The big end game isn't even a comic book. You know what I'm saying? And like with fitness, my end game is not losing weight.
Yeah.
My end game is not getting ripped. My end game is something so much more superior to that it's like, yeah, I hit these goals and I'm happy, but at the same time it's like, next.
Yeah.
Next, you know, and I think like as an ambitious person, man, it's a gift and a curse. It drives you, but it can also fuck with your head, you know.
I agree. I just, the only thing I would add to that is, you know, there is no sweet without the sour. You know, any video game you ever played, if you ever beat it in 10 minutes, you're like, meh, okay, that's fine. It's the tough ones, the hard ones, the ones that you sometimes drive yourself nuts trying to beat.
The Symphony of the Nights.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy 7s, the whatever you want to call it. It's those games that will
Mega Man
stay with
2s.
you forever. Yes, any Mega Man for that reason. But it's those games that will stick with you. And it's the same thing with this. Those things, those goals that you achieve, where it was setback after setback and derailments and back on track, once you get it, it will feel so much better. When we finally had issue 1 done, I mean, it was legit. It was like almost, 18 months worth of work to get 1 copy of it done. But damn if it wasn't the best thing I ever seen.
Yeah,
it was great.
I cried. I ain't gonna lie. I cried, man. I really
cried.
did. I cried. You know, I cried when I saw that. I mean, it was, you know, it's, I don't know, man. I think like with The setback thing again. You know, hey, those of you guys listening, count how many times we say that word in this podcast.
About 90 something.
Hey, play a drinking game to it.
They're done in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The tiniest shot glass.
Right. The thing is, I've heard a saying in the past where people have said, I've learned just as much from failures as I have from my victories. I think that saying is bullshit.
I think you learn more.
I think you learn way more from setbacks, from failures, from mistakes. I think you learn so much more because, to be honest, dude, I'm not on the treadmill thinking about the time I saw my goal weight on the scale. I'm not thinking about running up the steps. I'm not thinking about that. You know, I'm not. Like, I'm thinking about fuck those fuckers that bullied me as a kid. You know, I'm thinking about my father dying. I'm thinking about pain. I'm thinking about stuff that made me strong. Because those memories, they push me in those, like, moments. Because, dude, it sucks being on the treadmill. That's just totally random shit. I don't need the motivation of pain when I'm lifting weights. Because to me, honestly, lifting weights is a cakewalk. It's tough. But it's not hard to. It's like not as hard.
Mentally, it's not as hard.
It's not as hard. Like there's so.
And the treadmill's just goddamn boring.
I watch videos on it. Like I'm a glutton for punishment, dude. I love the fact that every time I'm on the treadmill, I have to argue with myself to keep going. Mm-hmm. Because it's always a test of bitch versus beast. No, wow, that was there you go. Yeah, another one.
Trademarked.
But yeah, man.
Bitch
I mean,
versus a beast. All right.
But yeah, back on the topic again, man. So many people listening to this. I always fuck that up. Listening to this. It's hard to say that phrase.
I think it's because it's like the Midwestern, the way we talk.
Yeah.
We can't get it all out.
You know, so many of you guys listening to this episode right now, you deal with these moments where you either get hurt or you go after a job you wanted and you didn't get it. You know, somebody dies or you get divorced. I mean, there's 100 different scenarios where your plans didn't exactly go as planned. And the fact of the matter is, you know, it sounds so shitty, but the old school people were different, dude. We're such a bitch-made generation because the old school
getting bitchier.
And when they are, you know, and the old school people were different. You
get hit, you get knocked down, you get the fuck back up. I mean, and it's a good day to bring that up.
For the Rocky,
because
the Rocky, yeah.
There you go.
Well, not even that, but we're recording on December 7th.
Oh yeah,
Pearl Harbor. On December
shit.
7th. Then you know what? America got punched in the dick.
Yeah.
Got back up and, you know.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
And you know,
even people there during that got injured got up and helped. I mean.
Yeah.
I really feel like, you know, we are the old school people, man, like my parents, you know, they always will say shit like, well, it is what it is. And then they just do what they do. And I used to, you know, as a kid, I used to be such a fucking mush. I'd be like, no, it's not what it is. It sucks, and it's horrible, and this is painful, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but that's what it is. That's life. Mm-hmm. They were just different, dude. You know, they had a mentality like that. The mentality that I am now adopting because I realize that shit is just gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And you know, truthfully, I've told people this as well lately. I've said, you know, if you stay in a state where you understand that we're going to celebrate the victories, fuck, to me right now, every time I go to the gym, it's a victory. Because I'm just like, fuck, I killed today. And that helped me a lot, actually, mentally, which was, you know, really just focus on, I'm going to own this day. I'm going to own this day, what I got today, you know. But to understand that, like, I don't give a shit how good things are going. Life is coming to get you. It's gonna happen. I don't know how, I don't know when, but some shit's gonna happen. I have put myself in this state now, where I understand this. It doesn't mean that when it happens, you're just gonna let it roll off you. It's probably gonna suck. You're gonna be upset, you're gonna be mad. But if you stay in a state where you understand that you can't avoid it, I never was in this state until in the last 6 months. The last 6 months of this year, I really started to focus and consciously understand that you cannot avoid this shit. You cannot avoid it. Something's going to happen. And, you know, some of you listening might think, well, that's a morbid way of thinking. It's not morbid because it doesn't mean I'm walking around waiting for shit to go bad.
keeps turning around.
No, that's not what it means.
Not
like
today.
Final Destination.
Yeah, right. It just means that I understand no matter what I do, something bad's going to happen at some point. It doesn't mean it's going to be devastating or horrible. It doesn't mean it's always going to be the loss of a loved one. But it does mean that, you know, oops, I forgot to pay that bill. Fuck. You know what I mean? It's like there's always going to be something that...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, and that's something I've been, like, preaching to people a lot lately, is just understand that shit's gonna happen. You know, shit's coming. Life is coming to get you, and it's waiting. Especially when it knows. You know, I think of life as this force. You know what I mean? I think that helps me deal with it because I feel like I'm in a battle with it. Like it's the villain and I'm the hero. It's my own movie, right? Like it's Clubber Lang and I'm Rocky. You know, and I feel like if I stay in this state where I understand that everything could be going good, but life, especially when things are really good, life is going to show up and be like, it's really awesome that you had those awesome plans.
Take you down a peg.
You know, how about
kick you in the dick?
Yeah, but if you stay in a state of that kind of prepared for it to happen, the setbacks still hurt, but they're not as devastating as if you live in a place where you just are all like happy-go-lucky and everything's great right now. And the only reason I know that is because I was that. I was living that way. I was living like a very spoiled mentality. Like, well, I want this to happen, so it should happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's bullshit, and I'm going to be very upset. And it's like, it's okay to be upset. It's not okay to, at least for me and for you and for John and for those of you, some of you listening anyway, I don't know about all of you, it's not okay to hit a setback and then just be like, fuck it for 2 weeks or a month. You understand that how devastating that is to your dreams. Like, it is unbelievably devastating. And I'm not talking about injuries. If you get hurt, you clearly just can't do shit, and it is what it is. I'm talking about, like, you know, even when you get hurt, I guess, you know,
Depends.
even if you get hurt and you just totally give up.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, everything sucks and I give up on this dream of mine. Or, like, what if we had given up on the comic when that setback happened? There's so much shit that life just, you know, I don't know, man. I really feel like that life has always, like, got you there, and even when things are going your way, it's going to fucking left hook you, and you're going to be on the floor, and you have to decide, am I going to get up, or am I just going to let this one go again?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it can either be a speed bump or it can be a wall. Depends on how you look at it. I think the best thing for most people is to see the walls and turn them into speed bumps and not the other way around.
Yeah, and it's so hard for people to do. Like I said, I think it's harder for overly ambitious people because they're control freaks, they're, you know, driven as hell, and they're very impatient by nature.
Yeah,
And-
that I agree with.
Yeah, and it's like, if I want this to happen, it's going to happen now. And I told you this in the past, and I'll bring it up again because it's important. Patience is not one of my virtues, but I've had to learn how to be patient with every dream I have. Because it was the only way to not drive myself insane.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm the same way.
And I think, you know, you have to be. Even when setbacks occur, you have to understand that the only way to get past it is patience. It's being patient with yourself and the situation and understanding that this is life and it's a part of the journey. This shit's going to happen. You know, with the injuries, it had to become a question of just being patient to get back to a consistent place in my life. But even with when I lost weight, I changed my whole perspective back then. The reason I failed so many times before was all rooted in impatience. all rooted in impatience because I was like, if it doesn't happen in a week, fuck this. Or I can't eat like this for a month straight. It's horrible.
Yeah.
No patience. When I almost died and the next day, I was like, I have to change the way I think. I have to understand that this is for the long haul. This is not just some week, 6 months, whatever. It's got to be for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean there won't be ups and downs, but it does mean that if you adopt the mentality that, and I put this mentality to my videos, this mentality went into the comic book, this mentality goes into these podcasts, this mentality now is everything I am desperate but impatient, but patient. Desperate but patient. It's like, I don't know.
It makes sense.
It
to me,
sounds strange because it's almost like they're
It's
too.
almost like impatient.
Well, I mean, you want
It is. It's like two opposing thoughts.
But I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, you have to act like you're desperate because you have to scratch for everything you want to get, but you have to be patient because nothing is just going to happen overnight. I mean, that makes
Desperation
sense.
gives you that hunger.
Right,
With that
exactly.
Hunger, you fight for it.
But
Yeah.
it's tough for a lot of people because they get the two mixed like I have in the past.
Sure.
And, once again, like with these videos is a great example because it is so easy to look at someone else and be like, what the fuck, they have 5,000 views and I only have this. It's so easy to do that. But then if you're like myself and I stop being stupid and step back and humble myself and be like, dude, wait a minute. You've only been doing this consistently for a year, to be honest. A year. You've only been doing this consistently. Who the fuck are you? Are you serious? This is how I talk to myself. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, you expected what? When you decided to lose weight, did you expect the 200 pounds to fall off the next month? No. Same fucking thing, dude. And it's the same with any dream, man. There's going to be roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, dude. And then there's your own bullshit. The big elephant setback in the room. Your own garbage in your own head that fucks up everything.
Yeah, and that's definitely one. I mean, for myself, I've always felt like since what happened, with the military and my mom, I've been tempered in this shit. That, to be honest, I haven't had a challenge as hard as what I faced there since. And I've graduated now from 2 colleges, both while working during it. We've done this comic book. I've kept myself in shape. I'm almost completely climbed myself out of financial debt for these school loans. And not one of those goals or ambitions was harder than what I went through in Texas. I feel like from what happened there, that's what changed my life and said everything that I'm going to get is because of how much effort and hard work I put into it. That is all. There is no magic carpet. Nobody's going to throw me a bone. There's not going to be any lotteries or jackpots in my future. Everything is going to come with me having to sacrifice and do shit the hard way. And it definitely takes longer, for sure, but your journey is not, only in 30 years. Your life lasts forever. Well, not forever, but it lasts a very long time, and you don't have to rush every dream that you have. You take things in certain steps, and you get to where you got to be first.
It's easy these days for people, especially now in the world of social media. It's easy to encounter a setback and want to do some desperate ass shit. I mean, I once again will say from personal experience, I know lots of social media tricks to gain thousands and thousands of followers.
Right. You've told me this.
I've told you that in the past.
But followers and people that actually follow and listen are 2 different things.
And exactly.
Like, people fall for that all the time. They do all this. They go to those like, oh, I can get you 1,000 listeners, but it's only as good as if they actually pay attention, right? I mean, you could have 5,000 followers, but if like only 3.
Yeah, I mean,
actually keep up.
If you got 4,500 of them off of some kind of spam website, then it doesn't really freaking matter.
There's other tricks, but yeah.
I think
it's the same. It's the idea. Like where Mario's followers all interact with him, he has followers that actually do follow and listen and watch.
Yeah, and not to say that those bigger accounts don't. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they have a ton of people who watch and pay attention.
But they built it from where you are.
And
they didn't pay somebody $500.
Yeah,
pay somebody
I'm sure
$50
some
for,
didn't all play fair.
And listen, I like I always say, man, I'm not judging and I'm not hating. I'm just saying that
That's what I'm here for.
I don't, because I say, you know what, do what you got to do, man. I just think that in 10 years, I know without a shadow of a doubt, these things we're doing are going to lead us to a successful, uber successful life. I could say that, and I don't give a fuck if I sound crazy. I could say that shit with 100% confidence, man. That's why, to me, when I hit those setbacks, and I do feel like doing desperate shit, where I'm like, okay, I need to gain 100,000 followers in 6 months, I stop myself because I know that somewhere down the line, I'm going to regret doing it that way. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to lose that genuine connection to people that I have developed by doing it this slow-ass, patient-ass way, dude.
For sure.
And what you said, it matters for everything, dude, because not only the setbacks thing, but the allowing yourself to be patient and understand the effort part, because, dude, the effort part builds something that speed can't give you. You can hit that success like this, man, and you can get all that money and all that notoriety, but we've seen what that's done to people, dude.
Yeah.
And I honestly, truly believe success in anything, and whatever you want to consider success, it's not just a monetary thing, but whatever you want to consider it, dude, I don't think it begins to truly happen until the universe, whatever, something knows that, all right, now you're ready. Because, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, a year ago, I was not ready to have trolls on my fucking Instagram or Facebook. I was not ready to deal with the influx of comments and people wanting advice. I wasn't in a place to deal with that. Not only that, I was the kind of guy who really cared about what people thought of me. Like, really bad. I barely give a fuck anymore about it. It's funny, dude, that this year, not even this year, in the last 4 or 5 months, when I really just gained this level of confidence in what I'm doing now, that all of a sudden the views went up, the interactions went up. Why is that? I'm not saying anything different. It's still the same fucks and shits with motivation behind it. It's exactly the same message I was saying last year. What's the difference? The difference is there is something...
Now with 10% more fucks.
Yeah. There's an energy that comes off of that, and I think a part of that is learning to not only accept the fact that you're going to go through shit, you're going to get setbacks, you're going to get mishaps and all type of stuff. Not only accepting that, but rolling with it. Understanding it's a part of this shit and not something that you are going to, what's it called? Avoid.
Oh. Looking at me like I knew what the word was.
Yeah. How long are we in right now?
53 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's probably good.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, you can edit that.
Yeah. You want me to close this out? What do you want me to do?
We're both just like,
I'll take. Yeah, so I think we've rambled on this subject enough. To those of you listening, please provide us with feedback. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know if we're full of shit or if we make sense. I mean, let us know if this helped you in any way, because that's obviously the point of this podcast. And to all you movie and comic book lovers out there, check out our other podcast on SoundCloud.com. It's One More Round Entertainment. The podcast is Getting Back to Gotham. My YouTube channel is Mario Kaleo One More Round. That's where all the motivational stuff is. And
we're also on SoundCloud under Squabblebox.
Oh, yeah, Squabblebox
came
as well.
From across the pond.
Yeah, and our comic book that we spoke of in depth today is called Evolution. It's like the word evolution, but with an S. You can find it on indieplanet.com. There's 3 issues out now. You can buy it for $5, or you can download it for $1. It's wonderful. Check it out. And I think that's it, man.
Yeah.
That will be it for tonight. Thank you for listening. Share this shit if it hit home. Thank you to RJ for helping.
No problem.
Thanks to John for helping as well. And remember, all you need is a start and some heart. Peace.